In this video, we're going to go over the installation for our Datsun 280ZX battery tray replacement unit. We'll kind of talk about taking out the old one, which is probably, if you're doing this, it's because it's all rusted up, and kind of go over the features of the new one, how you'd align that, and yeah, the different options. So to start, this is available from Skillard.com. And next, we'll kind of dive in the engine bay and take a look at what we got. All right, so our test car here, our factory battery tray wasn't too bad, but you can see that it's got some rust on it. Our regular 280ZX, the one that I'll drive around, it was actually quite a bit worse than this one. And these are spot welded in. We started drilling this out to see if we could actually save this piece, but ended up not being worth it. So my recommendation is, if yours is rusted up and you're taking this out, is to actually not necessarily try to drill out the spot welds, because then it's too easy to drill through the fender panels and you got to weld them up, and is actually to just cut the battery tray itself, rather than try to save the flange. Leave the flange connected to the car, cut that out, pop it out, and then kind of grind all that down smooth. So if you've got a big old rotten hole through your fender, that's going to be a different problem. But this is to replace just the battery hold down shelf. So we got this already out of the way in this one, and we got the new one installed. One of the features of this is that we made it so a little bit of drilling for riv nut installation. We have other videos that show the riv nut installation and riv nut tools, so you can take a look at those. But that we made this aluminum, so you don't have to worry about it ever corroding or rusting again. Also lightweight, and made it so that, again, the riv nuts can be drilled and put in, and then you can actually bolt this unit in, and ends up nice and solid. So I'm going to go ahead and just unscrew this real quick, pull it out, show you the riv nut mounting points, as well as some of the features of the shelf itself. All right, so I've got the plate out here, shelf, and so this is kind of just set. It'll go in the engine bay this way, and these ledges are just designed to sit in this gap right here. This leg right here comes with the machine screws. You'll assemble this, but these are two M5 machine screws. This leg already has machined inserts already put in it, so that'll be something you'll screw together. This is also adjustable up, down, so depending on exactly how you set this shelf, because you can pivot this slightly, and just depending on how you mount this, you're going to want a little bit of adjustability in this leg. And you can see at the bottom of this leg, there's a couple slotted holes, and that's actually going to mount into the frame rail with some riv nuts, so you'll need to drill a couple holes. And then the same with here, and here. So again, like I said, this is aluminum. This one's raw aluminum. Because it's aluminum, you don't need to weld it. You're going to bolt it in. We're also going to have a black powder coated option. We left where the battery sits on the top, we left that flat rather than cutting a bunch of holes or patterns in it. So that way, if you decided you wanted to actually drill and bolt like a battery box on there, we have some of our aluminum boxes that you can put like a Braille battery. I have a 3121 in my 280ZX. I have a G30 and S30, and they've been great batteries. So especially if you're looking for weight savings, the lithium's pretty slick, and so that can mount on here with various sizes, different batteries. Also, we went ahead and added little notches right here and here. So if you wanted to use like kind of the J-hook style battery hold down, you could set a battery on here and then hook your J under here with the strap across the top, tighten that down. I don't generally go that route, but threw those in there just in case that was something that you were interested in. So We'll kind of take a look inside here in a minute, and I'll kind of point out some things with where we put the rib nuts. Okay, so we got the old battery tray out, and like I said, we were actually trying to save this on the way out, so we ended up drilling a bunch of holes in the fender here. But that's my point, is that if that's not your intention, because you're replacing this because your tray is all rusted, it would just be easier to leave the factory flange right here and just cut it, grind it smooth. But you can see we have a rib nut installed here, 2 back here against the firewall, and then 2 down here into the frame rail. Depending on how your car's sitting, you know, when you're drilling into this front one, you know, make sure you're not gonna drill too far through, hit a tire or anything silly like that. This right here, when we drilled these, we had 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches before you start to interfere with some stuff underneath the dash. So when you're going to go ahead and drill that, you do have room, but you want to make sure that you're not just ramming a drill bit through there and hitting stuff. So that's definitely something to be aware of. And so I guess the next question would be, is like, how did I know where to put these rib nuts? Was I brought this in, we set the panel in place, you know, granted you can have it pivoted a little bit one way or the other, but our goal was to try to actually have this sitting flat. And so we positioned it where we wanted this shelf flat, marked, and then we extended our leg down here. The reason it goes down into the frame rail here is so that way you can actually get a drill in here to drill and put your rib nuts in. If we were going to try to actually mount this to the side, you wouldn't really be able to fit a drill in here, so you'd only be able to do it if you pulled the motor. So you know, you do have a cluster of wires and stuff that's normally down here, so you might need to loosen some ties, get that out of the way for the process of drilling that and getting it mounted. Obviously be aware of your wires. You know, your battery's obviously not going to be hooked up while you're doing this because it's got to be out, but you still want to be careful not to drill through any of your wires. So we went ahead and marked these, drilled the holes, installed the rib nuts. You can see that they're slotted up and down, so you do have a little flexibility on how this mounts, but side to side is somewhat limited. So sometimes when I'm installing rib nuts, I'll actually drill and install a rib nut and actually put the machine screw, say, in this hole, and then I will mark the next hole, drill it, put the machine screw in. So if I do them one at a time, then you ensure you don't have them drift and not be able to get it to line up later. So just a little tip when you're installing multiple mounting points. So yeah, that pretty much covers it. Pretty straightforward, but it's an option to, like I said, to replace that tray if yours is all rusted out in your 280ZX. This one was all right, had a little bit of rust, but most of them that I've come across are pretty rotted out. So here's a good option if that's something that you're looking to replace. You obviously got to cut out the rusty factory one, but you don't need to weld, just a little drilling and some rib nuts and then assembly. So pretty easy install. This one that we were showing was raw aluminum. We are going to have them available in black powder coat from Skillard.com. Please email sales@skillard.com if you have any questions.